No.
Gervonta's something. He's so unique. I think if you look at all the active boxers who are champions, he may throw the least amount of punches.
Yeah.
Because he sets guys up. And so the first few rounds, he's just calculating you, trying to find your openings, testing you. His first round of his last fight, I mean, how many punches did he throw? Like very few.
Yeah.
But goddamn, when he hits you, you're fucked. That dude can crack. He's so good. He's so accurate and he's so sneaky the way he like dips inside, cuts in uppercuts. And his power, man, his power is just extraordinary.
Joe Rogan warned Jake Paul about the danger of facing Gervonta "Tank" Davis, a fighter who is smart, powerful, and deadly, even when he throws few punches. Fighting Tank is like taking a big risk, and for Jake Paul, the challenge looks scary. Boxing expert Gareth A. Davies added more truth to it, saying, "There's an 8-inch height difference, 7 weight divisions, and about 70 pounds between them. It's a joke, a circus fight." His words cut through the hype and show how unfair this matchup really is. Jake Paul might believe in himself, but size and power matter in boxing. When experts call it a circus fight, it makes people wonder if this is real competition or just for show. Facing Tank isn't just brave, it's dangerous. And that danger is what keeps fans curious. Will Jake Paul shock the world or fall hard when reality hits? Lamont Roach, who recently fought Gervonta Davis, knows exactly how deadly Tank can be. He warned that the fight could explode from the very first round.
It's going to go from the beginning, them actually swinging at each other. I don't think it's going to be them actually, I think it's from the beginning.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That warning says it all. This fight won't be slow or careful. It'll explode from the very first second. No warm-up, no testing, just pure chaos. For Jake Paul, that's a big problem against someone as sharp and powerful as Tank. One early punch could end the fight before it even starts. But Lamont Roach didn't just warn Paul, he also gave him some respect. Roach said Paul isn't the same YouTuber people used to laugh at. He's improved, worked hard, and earned some real credit.
He's improved a lot, bro. He trains like an actual, he trains harder than world champions.
That's not just a casual compliment. It's real respect from someone who's actually been in the ring with Tank Davis. Training harder than champions shows that Jake Paul is serious. This isn't about fame anymore. It's about focus and discipline. If Tank takes that lightly, things could get dangerous fast. What seemed like an easy win might turn into a risky fight. And then, Roach said something that completely changed how people see Jake Paul's boxing journey.
He works hard, bro, he trains, does full camps, bro, it's not like these YouTube dudes who, go to the boxing gym, for 2 weeks and think that they're gonna, no, he trains, does a full camp, strength and conditioning, sprints, everything, spars, nonstop, all that stuff, right? He trains like a real pro fighter.
Has some legit.
But you know why he trains like a real pro fighter?
Why?
Because he is a real pro fighter.
That one statement removes the YouTuber tag completely. Jake Paul is now being seen as a real professional boxer. He trains full-time, spars endlessly, and works just as hard as the top fighters. This isn't a gimmick anymore. For fans, it changes how they see the fight. It's no longer just entertainment. It's a real clash between a superstar and a man determined to prove he belongs. That kind of hunger can lead to either a shocking upset or a painful reality check. Calvin Ford, Tank's longtime trainer and mentor, didn't hide his concern. He reminded everyone that Jake Paul still brings real danger into the ring.
Talking about this, Tank been going back and forth for so long, and people don't understand that, And one thing I can say about Jake, he's good at what he do, and he's been doing it. That's why he's where he's at. And everybody keeps saying, be honest, this is a risky fight. You understand? Anything can happen because I don't know all the logistics besides love, what weight class. There's a lot of stuff I don't know about yet. But my main thing is keep him safe.
Those words matter because they come from someone who's seen Tank Davis at both his weakest and his most dangerous. If even Calvin Ford calls the fight risky, it means Jake Paul can't be dismissed as a sideshow. Ford understands that anything can happen in the ring, especially when weight and size differences are involved. In a fight like this, safety is just as important as strategy, because one mistake could change everything. For Tank, it means fighting with respect. For Jake, It means finding opportunity within danger. Ford also talked about the weight challenge, admitting that the size difference makes this fight unlike any Tank has ever faced. His words showed both caution and confidence.
We gotta figure it out. That's why I'm so fabulous right now, because this is a tall glass of water we gotta drink. But I believe in my youngin', always believe in all my youngins, you know what I'm saying? But him, he's our forefront youngin', you know what I'm saying? It gives everybody else hope. You know what I'm saying? That it ain't nothing that you can't do if you don't put your mind to it.
That's the voice of a mentor who understands how tough the road ahead is, but still believes it can be conquered. Tank isn't just fighting Jake Paul, he's fighting physics, reach, and size. Yet Calvin Ford still sees hope, not just for Tank, but for every fighter brave enough to challenge themselves. His faith in Tank's heart and determination turns the weight difference into motivation instead of fear. It's a reminder that true greatness comes from facing the impossible. And if Tank succeeds, the impact will go far beyond this one fight. When Ford talked about what happens when real punches land, he got serious. His warning was clear: at this weight, everything changes, and focus becomes a matter of life or death.
Talk about it's scripted, it's this, it's that. I should take him with the man gonna come out of him. You know what I'm saying? And I know how that is. You hit me with some shit, I'm gonna hit you with some shit. You know what I'm saying? So, that weight class and Tank weight class, you have to be concerned about that. So we gotta be laser focused and just do what we do.
That's not hype. That's survival talk from someone who's lived and breathed boxing. Power can trigger instincts that no strategy can control, and Ford knows Tank can bring out the fighter in anyone. But in a heavier weight class, the margin for error disappears. Every punch counts, and every mistake gets punished. The only way to win is to stay focused, sharp, and ruthless. That's the real truth. This isn't just another fight, it's a test of who Tank really is as a champion. Former world champion Spencer Oliver put it plainly, highlighting how unusual and risky the size difference is between Tank and Jake Paul.
135-pound world champion, lightweight world champion. The guy's my height. He's 5'5", and Jake Paul is a cruiserweight. He walks around at sort of like 15 stone. So, and it's an exhibition. So look, if you buy into that, then yeah, fine. But it's not one for.
That's the kind of reality check fans can't ignore. Tank might be one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, but standing 5 feet 5 inches against a cruiserweight looks like a mismatch on paper. It adds to the circus feel of the fight and makes people wonder if it should even happen. Still, boxing has proven many times that skill can beat size, and Tank's power has ended fights against bigger men before. The real question is whether his skill can overcome such a huge weight gap. That imbalance is what makes this fight both dangerous and fascinating. Spencer Oliver then pointed out that Jake Paul has been making smart choices with his recent opponents, but this fight with Tank feels completely different.
Absolutely. I think, definitely. I think I fancy my chances. I think Gervonta Davis actually beats him as well. He's one of the pound-for-pound best fighters in the world at lightweight. But it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? It's like you got a guy of 5'5" boxing a guy of 6 foot plus. Cruiserweight, yeah, it's just all a little bit odd. I feel if they're going to do an exhibition, perhaps Jake should have picked someone more his size. Look, his last fight against Julio Chavez Jr. Was at cruiserweight. Chavez Jr. was a former world champion at middleweight himself, and that sort of made sense. And it was a good win for Jake Paul. He come out there and he beats an ex-world champion. He gets a little bit of credibility, and you go, right, now you're heading in the right direction. You're starting to be okay, all right. Former champions, former fighters, but at least they're boxers. They're not MMA stars, and whatnot. So, yeah, I think that was a move in the right direction. Gervonta Davis is just a little bit of a freak show for me.
Those words hit hard because they show how quickly Jake Paul's path can shift from credibility to chaos. Beating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. gave Jake real respect, proof that he could stand with professional boxers. It was a big step forward and quieted his critics, at least for a while. But jumping from that to facing Gervonta Davis isn't just another step, it's a leap into the unknown. Spencer Oliver made it clear how extreme this matchup is. even compared to other wild fight ideas people have mentioned for Jake.
Agree, mate. Totally agree. Gervonta Davis is an active fighter. Like I say, still a pound-for-pound star. Very heavy-handed as well. He should have the movement, forget the size, to be able to slip inside and take Jake Paul out. That's the reality of it. But yeah, I just find it all very, very strange. Look, I thought an even stranger fight, to be honest, was Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. You look at that fight and go, who's going to sanction that? God forbid something happens to Jake. You know, I think that what he's doing for the sport is brilliant in his own right. You know, he's bringing new fans into the sport. He's doing excellent for women's boxing as well. You can't take that away from the kid, and he's been working hard as well, and he's improving. But going in against Anthony Joshua, a former two-time world heavyweight champion and still an active fighter, that's a suicide mission for me.
That's a sharp reminder that Tank, even though he's smaller, is still a dangerous, active, pound-for-pound powerhouse. He's got the movement, timing, and explosive speed to close the distance on Jake Paul, and if he does, Jake's size advantage could disappear in seconds. Spencer Oliver warned that going any further, like facing someone the size of Anthony Joshua, would be complete madness. But even this fight with Tank already feels like playing with fire. Boxing legend Bernard Hopkins described Tank's brilliance in a way only a true master could. He said Tank's style is like an illusion, a trap that looks harmless until it's too late.
Who get there first?
And Tank is so good.
Tank is so good. Tank will give you something that's really not there. It's literally, you think is, about the three top, the ball in the three top hustle.
Mm-hmm.
You think he showed it to you. You think and he did a couple of these. It's not there.
Right.
He shows you something that is like an illusion. Might not be the first time once he tried you and you go for it, but it's coming. And that's how he set you up. He set traps.
That breakdown shows exactly why Tank Davis is a nightmare for anyone who faces him. He doesn't just hit hard, he plays with your mind. He makes you think there's an opening, then punishes you the moment you fall for it. Fighting him is like chasing shadows, where every move is a setup for something bigger. Bernard Hopkins has seen fighters like this before, the kind who make even experienced boxers doubt themselves. For Jake Paul, that means danger hides in every fake move, every twitch of Tank's shoulders. Hopkins went even deeper, saying Tank's power isn't just physical, it's mental. The threat of one perfect punch changes everything inside the ring.
Mine is burning energy.
Yeah.
You physically burning energy because right? Even if he just touch you in an arm, based on what you've been hearing through the whole press conference and through the whole fights he had before then, yourself, that you better not get hit.
Yeah.
See, power rules everything around you.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about power, you can lose all the fights, all the rounds in that power. Come on.
Yep.
Right? That would make the Foremans, the Mike Tyson.
Deontay Wilder.
Power. Rules.
Yeah.
I got one shot and it's over. I can be losing the whole 90. I can be losing all the way to the 12th round and hit you with that power. And to get to the 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th, you walking and treading danger. You walking through a minefield that any time, any bad move, it's over.
Yeah.
Fighting Tank is like that.
That insight perfectly explains the fear Tank Davis creates before the first punch is even thrown. It's not just about the shots that land, it's about the ones you're afraid might land. That kind of pressure drains your energy, messes with your mind, and forces you into mistakes. Hopkins compared it to walking through a minefield, where one wrong step could be your last. Against Tank, there are no safe rounds, no time to relax. One slip, one moment of hesitation, and the fight can end instantly. Joe Rogan explained exactly why Tank is such a nightmare in the ring. His mix of patience and power turns every second into a dangerous trap.
Sets traps, and he's got ridiculous one-punch knockout power, too. He's just such an interesting fighter because his style is so different from everybody else. He's so conservative in the early rounds, throws so few punches, and he lets you work. He lets you work, and you're backing up, and you're always afraid of that power, and he's just moving in, trying to find that opening where he just gets in there.
That description shows why no opponent can ever truly relax against Tank Davis. Even when he's quiet in the early rounds, he's studying, waiting, and setting up the perfect trap. The fear of his knockout power makes fighters hesitate, and that hesitation is all he needs. His style drains both the body and the mind, slowly forcing opponents to fight his fight without even realizing it. Shakur Stevenson, one of boxing's smartest young champions, wasn't surprised when talk of a Tank Davis versus Jake Paul fight started heating up. To him, the signs were already there.
I'm not shocked. I mean, his last fight when he fought Lamont, Jake Paul was at the fight. He told y'all he was going to fight somebody like Jake Paul. So I'm not shocked. It don't surprise me. So
that calm reaction from Stevenson shows just how real this matchup has become. While fans might see it as shocking or even crazy, fighters like Stevenson understand that boxing's business side often makes the unexpected happen. He pointed out that Jake Paul being ringside wasn't random, it was a signal of what was coming. Now, the talk has turned into reality. What sounds like pure spectacle to outsiders feels like part of a bigger plan to those inside the sport, and that makes this fight even harder to ignore. Stevenson went on to explain how the fight might actually play out, saying that Tank's biggest weapon isn't just his power, it's his intelligence in the ring.
Size will play some part of the fight, but if I'm thinking like I'm Tank, I'm probably just going to go out there and try to outbox him and use my knowledge and IQ against him. So I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
That analysis is chilling because it destroys the idea that Jake Paul's size gives him an advantage. Stevenson believes Tank will turn the fight into a boxing lesson, one that looks almost effortless. With his experience and high fight IQ, Tank doesn't need to rush or chase the knockout. He can patiently break Jake down, round after round, until there's nothing left. It's a reminder that boxing isn't just about power, it's about strategy and intelligence. And when it comes to Tank, that mental chess game can turn deadly. Stevenson summed it up with the kind of blunt honesty only another pro can give. In the end, this fight comes down to one thing: levels.
Not at all. I think Tank is, he's been boxing his whole life. He's been boxing since a kid, so I doubt like that's going to be an issue or a problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
That's the kind of reality check Jake Paul can't ignore. Tank Davis has spent his whole life in boxing. Years in the gym, decades in the sport, a lifetime of fights. Jake may be talented, hungry, and improving, but as Stevenson made clear, there's a limit. There are levels in boxing, the gap between good fighters, great fighters, and true legends. And in Stevenson's eyes, Tank is operating on a level far above where Jake is today. Closing that gap in one night might be impossible. Jalian, a fighter who spent years in gyms and rings, also reminded everyone that size alone doesn't win fights. He explained how skill, timing, and setups can completely flip the script.
When it comes to fighting, that shit really don't mean much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
You saw that with Crawford moving up to Canelo?
Yeah, but not only that, in the gym, if you've been in, all the fighters out there that's going to watch this video, they can say, oh no, we know what he's talking about, because you see smaller guys put bigger guys down a lot.
Exactly.
It's all about how you do it. Setting up, trick, you know what I mean? Running them into a wall, running them into a punch, you know what I mean? So it could go either way. It's a good one.
That insight cuts through all the talk about weight and reach. Jay Leon has seen smaller fighters humble bigger ones, not with brute strength, but with timing and precision. It's a reminder that boxing isn't just about size or numbers on a scale. It's about skill, traps, and execution. Jake Paul's size advantage won't mean much if Tank lures him into the wrong exchange. One well-timed setup could flip the fight in an instant. That unpredictability is what makes this matchup so dangerous. Jay Leon then focused on what really matters under the bright lights: boxing IQ. In his view, this fight will be decided more by brains and timing than by raw power.
I think somebody's going to get caught. You know what I mean? I think so. I don't think it's going to be our guy.
Because they don't like each other.
Yeah. I think they're going to go up, but it's going to be the smart man. Gervonta is obviously smart. He has one of the lowest punch outputs, but still has one of the highest knockout ratios. That says a lot. It's just IQ. It's going to be a lot of IQ floating around that ring, and whoever has the better one will come out victorious.
That breakdown is chilling because it shows just how dangerous Tank Davis really is. He doesn't throw a lot of punches, but when he does, they count, and that's why his knockout ratio is among the best. Every shot is calculated, every move precise. It's not about volume, it's about accuracy and intelligence. Jay Leon believes that edge makes Tank the smarter, sharper fighter in this matchup. No matter how you look at it, this is one of the strangest and most dangerous stories in boxing right now. Jake Paul stepping into the ring with Gervonta Tank Davis isn't just a fight, it's a gamble with everything at stake. The size, the power, the IQ, the traps, it all blends into a high-stakes game of survival. Tank's experience and knockout power still give him the edge. He's faced elite fighters and always found a way to break them down. But Jake's size and steady improvement can't be ignored. If he can survive the early rounds and avoid Tank's setups, the longer the fight goes, the more interesting it becomes. So what do you think? Can Jake Paul survive Tank's power and mind games? Or will Gervonta Davis prove once again why he's one of the most feared fighters in boxing? Would a Jake Paul win change how the world views crossover boxing forever? Or is this fight proof that levels in boxing can never be skipped? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more fight breakdowns like this.